Welcome back to the Jay Friesen YouTube channel, where we discuss everything real estate. Today I'm here with Matt Dickert from Inspect Tech Home Inspections. Matt's very experienced in home inspections. We use him quite a bit to help us with our properties. And as any realtor should, we always recommend that a licensed home inspector be used to verify any issues with homes. So, welcome Matt.
Thank you. I'm good, Jay. How are you?
Good, thanks. First of all, we're going to just go into Matt's background. So, background, out of high school, what'd you do? How'd you get to this point?
Yeah, no problem. So before I started Inspect Tech, I actually used to work for Hino, which was a manufacturing plant in Woodstock. So I ran their maintenance and manufacturing facility. I was there for about 12 years. About halfway through my duration there, I started Inspect Tech. I really loved doing renovations and fixing houses and doing that kind of stuff. So I went back to school. So I did night school for about 3 years doing, I took the inspection courses through Fanshawe, and then I wrote all my Ontario Building Code courses. And then during that duration too, I also became licensed for air quality testing for mold, wet certifications, which is your wood burning appliances, septic systems. So yeah, we kind of do everything that involves pre-screening your house before you buy it.
That's fantastic. Also, after, some people don't know, but after you buy a house, sometimes in this day and age, you can't include a home inspection. Matt will, by all means, go into your house after just to verify, see if there's anything you need to fix when you move in, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people are getting us to come in after they purchase the house. They kind of want a 5-year plan as to what's going to happen or what they can expect. So we can do that for them. That's not a problem.
Perfect. So I call Matt. I arrange a date and a time to meet at a property. Myself and Matt go there. What do you prepare for? Is there any preparations you do before you go to a property?
Yeah, so usually I'll request a real estate listing if there's one available from the agent or the customer, just so we can kind of see what the specs are, see what equipment the house has. We'll look at any pictures that might be posted online so we can prepare for the inspection to know what kind of heating system we're going to run into, what type of roofing system we're going to run into, because we want to make sure we have the right tools with us.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So today we're going to talk about foundations. So lots of different types of foundations, and as we know, lots of issues with foundations that can't be detected by the naked eye, and we'll go over some details of what Matt does to help us with that. So go over, is there a same process you follow for all outside home inspections, or is it different depending on the type of foundation?
No, so we try to follow a similar process. So generally what will happen is we'll start with the roof of the house, so whether we're climbing it or we're doing an eye stick scan, and then we'll take a look at like your decks, your porches, your exterior grading, your windows, your doors, and then we're also looking at the exterior of the foundation at that time. So what we're looking for is cracks, separation, settlement, water leakage, that type of thing. And then once we're done on the outside, we'll go inside. So we'll start in the basement. So we'll be looking at your electrical, your plumbing, your structure, your heating, water heaters, main shutoffs, that kind of stuff. As you're with us, we're going to point that all out to you. And then from a foundation standpoint on the inside, that's where we're going to be doing, if the basement's finished, we're going to do some thermal scanning. We're going to do some moisture testing. We're going to do some relative humidity testing to see what's going on with the basement as far as moisture goes. And then we'll identify the issues as we go. So when we're done in the basement, we usually work our way up. So we'll go through and function check everything, first floor, second floor. So that's everything from your doors, receptacles, light switches, smoke alarms, check the cabinetry in the closet, check the windows, and then we usually finish off in the attic. So we'll make sure that you have insulation in your attic. We'll look for mold in the attic, that kind of thing. So in total, we're probably checking 400 to 600 items, which is required by our associations. There is a standard that you have to follow. So that's why the process is important, so we don't miss anything.
Ah, very good, very good. So with regards to foundations, is there, I know there's lots of different types. What are the main types of foundations that you come across in Southwestern Ontario?
Yeah, so the main two types of foundations we're going to see are going to be a poured concrete foundation and a block foundation.
Do you see many block foundations? Is that the sign of age as a foundation, or do they still use block foundations?
Sometimes they do. It's not very common anymore, but typically your house is built from the 50s to the 70s will still have a block foundation. So that's like your bungalows, I wouldn't say wartime homes, but your older neighborhoods, more established neighborhoods, you will see block a lot. Concrete's pretty much the most popular. Yeah, so.
All right. Is there one common problem with, we'll go through the block foundation. One common problem you see with the block foundation that, it's common?
Yeah, so for a block foundation, it's usually leakage is the most common problem, followed by the mortar joints in the block will come loose. Over time, it's going to deteriorate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not maintained properly, then you're going to get water leakage coming in. As far as water leakage as a whole with block foundations, if they're not waterproofed or damp proofed, then that's also going to be a cause. So if you're buying an older house with a block foundation, it doesn't have damp proofing. Let's say the foundation's 50, 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not seeing any signs of leakage, that's definitely something we're going to have a conversation with you about to let you know that there is a potential for that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I see a block foundation and I see a crack, is that necessarily a problem or no?
It all depends on how big the crack is and which way the crack's going. So we have vertical cracks, horizontal cracks. That tells us something different for each one. So generally speaking, when we get into the crack issues, we really have to have a look at them to see what's going on and then follow the house from the crack too. So if I see a big crack in the basement, I'm going to go to the main floor, see if I see signs of that crack on the main floor, because that might indicate a bigger issue. If we don't see that and it's just a standard crack, then that's usually somewhere where we can recommend that you bring a foundation company in and they can give you a couple options on how to fix that.
Okay. And common problem with poured concrete foundation?
Cracks.
Cracks.
For sure. I mean, concrete cracks during the curing process, it's completely common. It just depends on how big the crack is and whether we're getting active leakage or not through it. So there's a bunch of ways that you can fix the cracks. Different companies in the area offer like injection, water membrane on the outside. So sometimes they'll fix it from the inside, sometimes they fix it from the outside.
Okay. And the same with those, is there a difference between a vertical, horizontal, or diagonal crack with a block foundation?
Absolutely. So again, it just has to be determined when you see it. Sometimes people will send us a picture, maybe they didn't get a home inspection or they just want an opinion. It's hard to tell just by sending me a picture of a crack, right? Because we got to follow the crack and see what story it's telling us.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. All right, so we do have some pictures here. Matt's taken from some previous home inspections. So first picture here, it's a block foundation. Tell us what we're seeing here, Matt.
Yeah, so basically in the corner, we're seeing the rusty color, which is leakage coming in. You'll also see horizontal cracks just below the windows, so it's obviously bulging in a little bit. And then we have some vertical cracks as well, which is showing some settlement. So obviously this foundation is not in good shape. It definitely needs an expert to come in and repoint all the blocks and then fix the grading on the exterior of the home too, because the grading is what was causing the issue for the soil to push the foundation in. So this would not be a cheap fix. You'd probably be looking at anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000.
Yikes.
Depending on the approach that the contractor wants to take. So yeah.
Okay. And obviously you work with industry professionals, so you have people you recommend
100%.
to come in, quote, fix all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so and these are people that we've worked with over the 10 years that InspecTech's been operational, so.
Okay, so there's that, and then we have the, this picture is of...
Yeah, it's just a diagram essentially to show like the three major things we'll see. So the first one with the vertical shear crack, that's where we're getting the cracking in the settlement. So obviously if we see this in a block foundation, this is a major issue, the wall's failing. The middle picture is a bulged wall, so this is where you get soil expansion pushing in the foundation. Again, very serious problem. Something else that's very common too on block foundations, far right here is the bowed wall. So that's when we're actually getting soil pressure pushing in on that too, or maybe it wasn't installed properly, or just over time it's starting to give out. So all three of these pictures that you see here, if we were to find this during an inspection, we definitely recommend we get a structural repair person in that specializes in foundations.
Okay, perfect. And then what do we see in this picture here, Matt?
Well, this picture here, so usually we don't see this all the time, but this was a very major crack. So to give you an idea how big the crack was, instead of using our concrete gauge, which is a little ruler, I used my fingers. So you could stick your fingers in this. But this is common on poured concrete, so we'll see cracks anywhere between 2 mil to 4 mil. Occasionally we'll find them on a house where we have like a 1 inch, a 2 inch, a 3 inch crack. Obviously when we get in the 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inch, we're calling a structural person in right away. You can't necessarily just patch and fill this. As you can see, they tried to do that there and it didn't work. So yeah, so that's just an example of a worst case scenario for a crack.
Okay.
Yeah, so in this diagram here, we're just showing an example on patching cracks. So you have a drainage layer on the bottom left. Top center, you see an epoxy ejection. This is very common to fix cracks. And then bottom right, they have an exterior patching, so they can use a rubberized or asphalt damp proofing. Epoxy is the most popular right now for fixing cracks, and a lot of the times the companies will give you anywhere between a lifetime warranty or 5 to 10 years, depending. Okay. Just depends on who you're hiring and what you're using.
Does every company that fixes these offer a warranty?
Yeah, most of the licensed guys that do this, or at least certified, will offer a warranty. So that's something to be very cautious with when you're hiring your contractors, to see what type of warranty you get on this work. Also, if it's transferable. If you go into a house and I point out to you and you're selling that house, hey, there's a bunch of crack repairs here. If your seller has the warranty and it's transferable, then they know they're covered, right? They'll take less stress off them.
And this picture?
Yeah, this is just a more detailed epoxy injection, kind of breaks it down, talking about all the different points. So, yeah.
And then next we have some, I know we didn't talk about these yet, but this is a brick foundation. So what do we see here, Matt?
Yeah, so this was a foundation we did about, I would say 4 weeks ago. Essentially what was happening is all the bricks were breaking apart and falling apart. So customer was obviously very concerned about this. So we also brought in a structural contractor the day after to have a review, because the client was on such a tight timeline to meet conditions. And this repair here, they quoted at well over $75,000 because the entire brick foundation had to be fixed.
Okay, this is another picture?
Yeah, you can just see the corner there. Now, the reason why the corner is worse than the wall is because before this gutter and downspout was installed, all the water was going against the foundation. So on top of our foundation conversation as a whole, it's very important to ensure you have proper downspout discharge, where you're at least 3 to 6 feet away from the foundation. And also your grading, you don't want water going towards the foundation. So, yeah.
All right, thanks, Matt. So a lot of the stuff, obviously we can't see with the naked eye. So I take lots of people around homes and look at the exterior, especially in the wintertime. A lot of times you can't see any of this stuff. The snow is piled up against the house, or there's a deck on the back, that type of thing. Lots of things we can't see. So we always recommend definitely get a home inspection included with your sale of your home.
Yeah, absolutely.
With your purchase. So
for sure.
All right, so thanks, Matt. I appreciate your time.
No problem, Dave. My pleasure.
If anybody is looking to get a hold of you, how can we get in touch?
They can call me directly on my cell phone at 519-788-5799. They can also reach us online. Check out our website at www.itpi.ca, or they can find us at Instagram at Inspectech. Give us a follow. There's always funny pictures that we post that we find. So if you want a good laugh, give us a follow.
Yeah, I like seeing those pictures too. It's pretty neat, because I see some pretty weird things in here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, good times.
Okay. All right, thanks, Matt. Appreciate your time, and have a good day.
Have a good day.